Hi, I'm Mila. Today I'm going to introduce about customer and market selection of uniquely Australian foods. I will start with business model environmental map. This map will involve these four dimensions. And the first of all is market issues. There are some market issues. The first is modern food systems are associated with malnutrition, including protein, vitamins, and mineral deficiencies, leading to a higher level of overweight and obesity. And another study found that proportion of Australians eating out and using fast food is increasing, while the dinner are looking for new flavors. However, the highly nutritious indigenous food is still largely undeveloped into Australian food industry, and they face too hard to entering a commercial market. This is top 4 type of market segments. The first, just feed me, house proud, seldom cook, and old-fashioned cooks. For needs and demands. The first is future food demand growth will be underpinned by Australian population growth, so it calls the economic opportunities for food producers. And food authenticities and provenance become two important vectors. For example, there was a growing demand from consumers. It's about more, they ask for more local meat and transparent meat sources. And for Australian consumer, people are more familiar with Asian vegetables, which are more common and affordable. However, consumer concepts with Australian vegetables was limited. Only a third of consumers knew about local vegetables. Therefore, it is high switching cost for consumer transfer to native Australian food. Now it's the second dimension, industrial voice. The first part, competitors. Our fruit and vegetable is mostly from US, New Zealand, and China. The two tables could clearly show who is the biggest countries for our importing country. And this part, the cook usually use imported tomatoes rather than bush tomatoes, which is because imported tomatoes will be available all year, but bush tomatoes as a seasonal food will face supply disruptions. And suppliers, the key value chain incumbents could be food distributors and chefs. Famous chefs as opinion leaders are an important part of the publicity of the native food, and the chefs can create different taste experience by using our native food. And online platform also plays very important role. It can improve the visibility of the native food. And there are some stakeholders. Food scientists from the UQ will conduct research on ingredients. And second, indigenous community and indigenous enterprises groups, and the Australian Research Council and the Industrial Transformation Training Center. Now it's a third dimension. First is the technology trends from the competitors. The cold chain preservation technology is becoming more and more advanced, which allow fresh food from overseas could enter Australia at a lower transportation cost. And greenhouse planting technology allows foreign imported vegetables to be supplied throughout the year. And the regulatory trend. This is a national policy support for shape the development of the traditional plant food. And the information about societal trend is the first trend is food delivery. And the second is transparency of food sources. More and more people are considering where and how their food is grown. And the last one is about people now tend to have their own food preference. The specific execution of popular terms is like the pescatarian versus flexitarian, and the plant-based versus vegan. Now turns to socioeconomic trends. The household food consumption are growing at an average annual rate of 2.3. So it may indicate that some customers have switched to higher price food types. And also about Australian population aging. Here's the information about marketing condition. The global growth rate in 2020 is expected to be minus 4.9, and the recovery is expected to be slower than previously predicted. And there are three features about the Australian capital market here. And this part about the commodities. Only 18 native foods are currently in commercial production, and native food prices are generally higher than other crops because of the high costs in wild picking or commercial cultivation of these plants. For economic infrastructure, Australia is the third highest quality of life and standard of living in 2018, and we also have complete transportation infrastructure. Here's a value proposition canvas I made based on the customer interviews. I interviewed 38 people in total, and all questions are designed about customer functional, social, emotional jobs and pains and their games. I found that most people needs are always related to their own work and the social identity. For example, the barbers. Barbers feels that working hours are too long, and the students worry about the balance between work and study. And also, a doctor said they worries about the vaccines. There's an interesting phenomenon is when I discover about the fear and pains by customers, I find there are many people think cooking is really time consuming and taking their too much times. So based on this feedback from the respondents, we can understand that the main obstacle that local food is the lack of visibility and availability. Views on the entire product category are still very vague and uncertain. And the product I support to customer is the delivery food box associated with fresh indigenous food and simple recipes, which could relieve pains, for example, such as healthy eating easier and indigenous food become accessible, and also can achieve their hopes that there are more healthy options and the food sources are more safety. So this is a description about our first best customer. Our target younger group who aged 20 and to 38. They are busy about studying and working and no time to prepare the nutritious meals for themselves. At the same time, they more like trendy lifestyle. Therefore, the way of food box delivery could attract more younger group than before. Here's a summary about the market opportunity. These have the 3 steps. The first steps, I summarize the core ability. It's a 7 days meal kit and the food delivery service and easy to follow receipts. The first one, we could cooperate with large meal kit company, which can provide their own channel and there has their own customer base. For example, a company like HelloFresh and YouFood. And also the food delivery help the people to find the indigenous food more easier. Also, the receipt could teach customer how to use and enjoy the indigenous food. There's 3 market opportunities I discovered. The first, basic people could cover the university students, young employees, and young family with work parents. And people want minimize outdoor activities. Here's the 4 categories here. And the people with poor cooking skills could be limited cooking experience and zero knowledge about the indigenous food. This one is, I evaluate the first market opportunity. People who care about time saving and healthy diet. And the result is overall potential is high and overall challenge is between the mild and high. The second opportunity, the result is the overall potential is high and overall challenge also high. And this one is a mild potential and high challenge. So I finally chose our primary market is people care about safe time and a healthy diet. And which is these 2 into the pursuit now. And this one into a placing the storage. So that's all for today's presentation. Thank you for watching.